when I think of the human body, I like to compare it to a car, right? If you take care of your car and if you maintain it well, it'll run flawlessly. But if you don't take care of your car, it'll slowly develop more and more problems. And for most cars, most brands out there, if you take care of it, it'll run great, except for BMW. I compare it to the human body because the human body is very complex. You have to take care of it, and the key thing with cars and humans is that they both share a common characteristic: is they both rely on one thing, and without that one thing, they cannot run at all. For cars, it's gasoline. For humans, it's water. Okay? 2/3 of our body is made up of water, and it's estimated that if you go on without water for 3 days, then you die. Okay? And this applies to pretty much everything, all life in the world. Without water, in a month, all life on Earth would be pretty much gone. And since water is such an important thing for humans, people have built this huge industry around bottled water. And they had a huge challenge. Tap water it costs less than a cent on average, whereas bottled water costs $1 to $3. So these water companies like Dasani and Aquafina, they had this huge challenge of how do you sell bottled water and convince people that it's better than tap water. Like, why should people pay 200 to 300 times the price for bottled water as opposed to tap water? And obviously they've succeeded. Bottled water is a huge industry now, and over the past few years, people have been complaining about bottled water more and more because of the impact it has on the environment and the impact it has on our resources. So some little general facts. The U.S. makes up 4.5% of the population on the world. We have, I think, 700 billion people on this planet, and we have 300 million in the U.S. Well, on average, 200 billion bottles of water are produced annually for the entire world. And in the U.S., we consume 50 billion. Right? We use a fourth of the water bottle supplies in the world, and we only have 4.5% of the population. And a common conception about the U.S. is we have a lot of problems, and the people in the U.S. generally make them worse. And it's gotten to the point where they're really stepping up against water bottle production because, actually just get on to the big misconception is about tap water. Like I said, bottled water companies, they had to sell their products somehow. They had to make it look like tap water was somehow inferior to bottled water, and they did this by saying that tap water was unsafe, it is unclean, and that if you drink it, you'll develop health problems. Or the truth is that tap water, pretty much bottled waters, they're complaining about the amount of fluoride in tap water, which is used to purify it and make it safe. Well, the FDA has estimated that the amount of fluoride in tap water is so minimal that it doesn't matter. So the bottled water companies, their argument was pretty much invalid. But people, everyone now, they think that tap water is bad for you, where in honesty, it actually offers more health benefits than bottled water, because tap water, there's a very small amount of fluoride, like I said, and as you know, fluoride, it helps strengthen your teeth, and whereas with bottled water, they distill it so much that they give you a lack of fluoride. And for young kids, if they only drink bottled water, studies show that it can weaken kids' teeth, and it won't be as strong as people, young kids who drink tap water regularly. So that's one big misconception, and I'm just trying to tell people that tap water isn't as dangerous as people think it is. In California, we have some of the safest tap water in the world compared to other areas like Africa, which they have no reliable source of water. So I think it's kind of sad that we consume a fourth of the bottled water production in the world when we have practically an unlimited supply of safe water that we can drink for free. So another big issue, and this is the one that people are worried about the most, is the environmental issues. People think that recycling will help with bottled water. They think if you recycle, it's all good, you're not going to waste plastic. Well, the truth is, I'm going to show you here. Okay, the red shows how much people don't recycle, the green shows how much people do recycle. So in percentage, 88% of people do not recycle. So when people say, oh my gosh, recycle, good, and they're doing this huge marketing campaign of how you should recycle, well, people don't do it because they're lazy. Okay? Honestly, if there's a garbage can, a regular garbage can 5 feet away from you, and a recycle bin 20 feet away from you, people would just go to regular thin because they don't want to walk far. So I think it's more people being lazy because we have plenty of recyclements in California. So I think it's really sad that only 88% people don't recycle. So, and the issue is because as people like throw away stuff, a lot of it just becomes litter because bottled water, I mean plastic, it takes 450 years to biodegrade, and biodegrading is pretty much if you throw something away, like on the ground, that's just an estimation of how long it'll take for the ground to like absorb the nutrients and pretty much make it, you know, like dirt, pretty much so. And on average, 40 million bottles a day are thrown away, so, I mean, a day. So you can like see how much of potential that these water bottles, like most people throw them away, but a lot of people just throw them on the street, or like if they're going running or something on a trail, they just throw it on the, you know, on the ground. And PETA, the People's Ethnic Treatment of Animals, they're having this huge hissy fit about it because when people like, say for example the trail, they throw the bottle on the ground, and a deer walks around and says, "Wow, look at that interesting leaf," and they eat it, and you know they choke on it. The stomach can't digest the plastic, and you know PETA is like, "Why are we making plastic bottles? It's threatening animals. You know, in the ocean, you throw plastic bottles in the ocean, sharks like eat it and they die because they can't digest it." So that's a pretty big issue because you know people are delusional. They think that recycling helps when in fact no one actually does it. So I don't know, but also with the impact on the environment, it takes a lot of resources. On average, it takes 2.7 million tons of plastic per year and 17.6 million barrels of oil. And we have a limited supply of fossil fuels, so I think that wasting 17 million barrels of it on water is kind of silly. But one of the most controversial issues of plastic bottles is the plastic they use. If you look on the bottom of your plastic bottles, you'll see this number surrounded by a little triangle, and they think that's like some recycling thing. It's not. It shows you what type of material is used in the plastic, okay? What is that?
Go back.
Okay, sorry. There are several types of plastics that people use. The safe ones are HDPE and LDPE. That stands for high density polyethylene and low density polyethylene. Like plastic milk cartons, orange juice, they use HDPE. And those are the ones that are considered safe. Like the plastics don't have any chemicals in it, and it's all good. But for water bottles, of course, we use the one that is the worst out of all of them. Let's see, PETE, it's the number one. That contains a chemical known as, I don't know how to say this one, bisphenol A, and people think that it increases the risk of breast cancer, miscarriages, and heart disease. But that's a big issue, and personally, I don't think it's a big deal. I think that the only time you're at risk of these chemicals is if you reuse the water bottle, and it clearly says on the bottle, don't reuse it. So if you do decide to use it, it's all on you. The water companies aren't liable for you. So there's a lot of issues with plastic bottles just from one tiny thing, and there's a lot of things that you can do to help. It's not like this big issue where you have to join an organization or donate millions of dollars to help. Pretty much you have to spend a little bit of money, but in the meantime, over the years, it'll make up for it. So there's some really easy things you can do to stop using bottled water. First thing you can do is buy a water filter like Brita, and the second thing you can do is buy a reusable water container like Clean Canteen. If you go to your Whole Foods, they have a lot of these Clean Canteen bottles made of metal, and Christmas season coming up, if you have little brothers who wants like this cool new toy, instead you can buy them a Clean Canteen, and you'll only get you forever. But you're saving the environment, so yeah, that's good. But yeah, that's a good Christmas gift if you want to be cool. I know there's some exceptions. Poor areas, they don't have access to clean tap water, so bottled water is fine. If you have emergencies, like in the East Coast, the hurricanes and all that, if the water supply is cut off, then you need bottled water. That doesn't really apply for the West Coast because in California, we have really nice weather. We're spoiled. Like we think 80 degrees is hot, or in other areas, it's 100 degrees. It's fine. So, join the movement. Get a water bottle, like a reusable water bottle. Get a filter. One person can reduce the amount of plastic bottles we use by a lot. And if if a lot of people in the U.S. join in this movement, then we can severely cut down the amount of plastic we use. We can severely reduce the amount of greenhouse gases that we release when we dispose of water bottles. And overall, I mean, it's a win-win situation. You save money by using tap water. You save the environment by, lowering the greenhouse gases. And overall, I mean, why wouldn't you do it? So, yeah, thank you.